So essentially every microphone you see these days has some kind of protection on it for wind and the pops of P's and the hardness of sounds. Every microphone, from like the one up here behind me to like some kind of a recording device for like a radio broadcast or someone doing a podcast, something like that, kind of something like I do with my gaming channel, live streaming, from song artists to rappers to just some guy speaking into a microphone in front of a crowd, to maybe your priest at your church, to your principal making an address in front of a large audience, even to the little microphones that you would see like this one here, although my pop filter's not on, ironically. But any microphone you see these days has some sort of wind protection and hardness of sound protection to it. However, there are different means of achieving this sound protection. As you can see, the one behind me right here, I'll pull it down again. This has a large foam windscreen pop filter, whatever you would call it. But the point is, this is large foam, goes right on it. And so if you can't tell by the comparison in the video, we'll be comparing that to, say, this one right here that's on my one for my PlayStation. This is more of a windscreen pop filter that's an attachable, kind of goes in front of the microphone, would go in front of it like this if you were to talk to it. Now see, they both are meant to achieve the same goal, to make your sounds not have the wind of your breath flowing into the microphone and giving it that awful sound. And also, it does protect it a little bit against like the hardness of a sound and stuff like that. However, which one would you know to buy? Because if they both do their same job, but they're clearly very different. One stays a little away from the microphone when you use it, one goes right on top of it. One's large, detachable, and you can kind of swing around with it, but it does take up a little bit of more extra space and needs something to clip onto, and one nearly slides right on the microphone. Now obviously for practicality uses like this, I would not want to go strapped with this in my sweatshirt pocket talking to you guys like this all day, because that's not going to get me anywhere and it's not very practical. So that's where the one that slips on, the foam kind, would go on. This kind of microphone. But for like a podcast microphone or a studio microphone like I have behind me, which one's the best? So basically, from a performance standpoint, we will be using this little gadget I have, the Gitos Air Rocket, and we are basically going to hold the microphone at a certain distance. We're going to hold this a certain distance away, and we're going to start pumping air. And we're going to let you guys hear what it sounds like without anything on, without that on, or with that on, and then with this one on. Now, for the sake of the test, we are going to give, I'm going to give this one a couple inches between like the actual microphone. And, you know what I'm saying, like this will be midway between, it won't be right up against the microphone because you wouldn't actually use it like that. However, performance will not be the only aspect of grading at the end of this video. I will take a look at different things like what it looks like, its functionality, wearability, like kind of usability, durability, things like that. So performance is not the only issue. Performance is just the main test where the proof is going to be in the pudding. The rest of it will be up to me to tell you guys. So anyway, let's go ahead, roll that intro. Let's get started right on this test, guys. Okay guys, so here we are right here with our microphone, Audio-Technica AT2020 Plus. We are pulling up Audacity at the moment, and that should be up here momentarily. So like I said, for the 3 tests, we will be using the Air Rocket from approximately this distance, because this is about how far away I would talk. So we're going to go right here, and we're just going to give it about 5 or 6 of those, and you will be able to hear how much wind it protects it from and what it sounds like, because obviously if there's wind you'll be able to tell, because it will nearly ruin the audio quality of it. So it'll kind of be like a thing where the proof is in the pudding, right away you'll know. So anyway guys, let's go ahead right here and we will test the first one. You guys will be listening to this live. So right here guys, we are going to start the test from right here with no pop filter on anything. 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, so we did about, it looks like 8 of those or so, and I don't know if you can see from here on the camera, but I'll try and get maybe a screenshot of that, because that is certainly a lot of action going on there, to say the least. I can't even really describe how that was. We're just going to call this test 1 and move on. So that was without any pop filter. There's a little bit of a filter in there, but not much of one. So test 2, we are going right ahead, and we are going to put on the one you don't normally use on this microphone, which is the foam slip-on, I guess you could call it. So anyway, we're going to hit it with the Geektos again from same distance right here, right at the microphone, and we're just gonna hope for the best and see what happens, guys. This will be interesting. I've never really done this before, so this the surprises are gonna, I guess, surprise me also, guys. So let's go ahead and test this in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so there is definitely some action popping up on there, because obviously I'll get into the validity of this test at the end of the video, but there is some action going on up there. You can definitely tell that, but it's about half the size, honestly, of without any kind of windscreen on there, so that's always good. But the real question is whether or not this is going to yield any better results. Now, I guess you could say it's going to have a little slight advantage of not having to be right up against the microphone, and don't worry, it will pay the piper for that one later on when I go to discuss like the form factorness of it all. So let's just take this off of here and set that aside for the moment being, clear our track, and let's clip it. We'll clip it right to there, and we're going to station it about right there. Now obviously this isn't probably the greatest way to set it up, but it'll work for the video, and I'm not going to judge like its usability based on how I have it set up here, because obviously it's set up kind of clunky. So we're just going to start the test here, and we're going to hold it the same distance away, and we are going to just give it the air. See what happens here, guys. Test in 3, 2, 1. Wow, okay, so that was a little different. There was barely any wind there, just based on the audio readings. I haven't listened to it yet. I will obviously listen to it before I give you guys the conclusion. But there is far less action going on there. So let's go ahead and move this a little closer just to see what happens. See if, because if it works when it's real close up, then we're not going to have to deduct any for the style of it, kind of. So I guess we're just going to try and hit it again and see what happens with our air. So test half distance in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there's a lot more wind there. I'm going to give it one from way back here just to see what happens. Wow, okay, so there's a definite difference there between where you hold it. But for the sake of the test, that was a pretty good one there. That's a telling tale of it. Honestly, there's not a huge difference between where you put it in the mic, like how far away you hold this. The big difference is how far away you hold this, and to keep the fairness of it all, I kept it in the same spot. So maybe we'll have another video based on how you need to set one of these up exactly distance-wise for the best results. But for now, guys, we have all of our audio. You guys have heard it. Now I'm going to go listen to it, and I'm going to give you my conclusions and what I think the best one to use in this scenario is, and maybe possibly in other scenarios that I can think of, guys. So anyway, let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, guys, wow, now that I went back and kind of listened to those all 3 clips again, I can kind of tell a big thing. Now, first off, let's talk about the practicality of this test. Obviously, if when you say a P or a hard letter, you have this much wind coming out of your mouth, you have a problem. I'm sorry. You're not built for any kind of commentary if you have like this kind, like, see, like, look what it's doing to my sweatshirt here. Just blowing the strings of my sweatshirt everywhere. So obviously, you'll never have this much amount of wind when you're talking in a scenario like this. And other thing I wanted to mention is about the test, a bit of the noise other than the initial wind rush is like just this thing making noise. So you kind of have to, if you listen closely, you might have to go back and listen to it. But you can tell what's wind noise and what is this thing sucking back in air noise. So there's a clear difference there. The first one, you can tell it just maxed it out across the board. You couldn't hear anything because obviously that much wind on no pop filter, not going to be a good combination. I'll actually pull this down just for the sake of the video. Now, what I can say is that from what I've listened, honestly, the foam seems to be the best one in the situation that I tested it in. Now, if you were to stay a little farther away from the mic, I would definitely say that the pop filter would be better than this. Now, obviously, this isn't practical for every mic. Say, for example, my Blue Snowball, I can't really get a foam cover that covers this. It's such an awkward shape, so the pop filter is great for that. And the pop filter is great when you have to, when the style of it doesn't really matter. When you have pretty much unlimited space, like maybe if you were a singer or a rapper, and you could kind of stand away from it, no big deal. But when I'm sitting at a desk, I only have so much room between me and my monitors. I don't want to have my microphone up against my monitor so I can have my windscreen appropriately placed against, like, distance from me. Obviously, in my opinion right now, I feel that in a like desk type environment like I have here for a podcast or for a voiceover, I feel that the windscreen is the foam windscreen is dominant compared to, I guess you could say, the pop filter. Now, I say this because obviously to me it sounds clearer, sounds like less wind. Now obviously that's this. Maybe I'll do future tests with me just blowing on it or something. But with this test, with max amounts of wind flow in a scenario at a desk from a distance of about a foot and a half away, the foam windscreen is superior, guys. So that answers your lifelong question of which one's superior and which one you should go with if you are in a scenario like this. I will be testing this out in the future, probably test number 2, 3, and 4, I would say, of this, testing various situations, various distances, various applications of a microphone, and which one these would work better for, guys. So anyway, that's kind of like the basis of the overall. If you have a lot of wind coming, that this one is going to be far superior to the basic pop screen. And also, it kind of fits better ergonomically. Like, this thing hanging here was kind of clumsy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's all over the place. This literally just adds an inch on every side of your microphone, and to me, that's really easy, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to pick up yourself a foam windscreen, or if you want to go with the pop filter, no problem with either one, really. As a matter of fact, is just get one, for God's sakes, if you listen to that first test. But if you have the choice, get one of these. I highly recommend it. Remember, if you're going to do that, Amazon link in the description below. I very appreciate any support you give us through Amazon. It helps me create more content and get more things in here to review, like this, like possibly an iPad Pro. Hint, hint, that would be amazing if I could get one of those. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I changed up the intro a little bit today. I talked a lot before the actual intro and kind of jumped right into it real quick. I don't know. See, if you guys like that, feel free to leave a comment. If you think I should get back to the old way, feel free to tell me that below. Also, thanks so much for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, all that, guys. If you have any questions, I will be answering them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.
Get fresh off the grill, get fresh off the grill, nigga, keeping it hot. Get fresh off the grill, get fresh off the grill. Let them bounce in the hopper, nigga, you can't stop me.